name is Dr. Ishrat Hussain. I'm a doctor in the National Health Service here in London, and my area of expertise is in the field of psychiatry, and that's the area of mental health. I'm here in my role in the interfaith work that I do with the Joseph Interfaith Foundation to talk to you a little bit about mental health and what to do if you need some support for your mental health. So we all know that the body is made up of different parts, and when one of these parts isn't working so well, we get symptoms of an illness. For instance, if we have an infection in our lungs, we have a cough, we feel unwell, and we see the doctor for medication for this often. Now, one of the most important parts of the body is the mind. The mind controls how we feel, how we think, and how we behave. When the mind isn't working as well as it should, it leads to signs of what we call a mental health problem. What causes problems of the mind? Well, there's a whole host of different issues that can cause a mental health problem. Some of these include experiencing a loss. That could be the breakdown of a relationship, the death of a close one, or even moving to a new environment, like I'm sure many of you have experienced recently. Another cause of mental health problems can be going through a very stressful experience in life. Sometimes we call this a trauma. This can be witnessing horrible and quite violent things sometimes. It can be also experiencing some of this violence. And this leads to problems with the way we feel about the world around us, about ourselves. And it sometimes then also starts to affect how we start to think. And then as a result, this affects how we behave with other people and the surrounding world. Many of you, I'm sure, have experienced very difficult things on your journey here to the UK. This may have included witnessing violence or experiencing violence, experiencing loss of very close members of your family or friends. And it's understandable if at points while you're here adjusting to a new environment, a new culture, that you experience difficulties in how you're feeling or what you're thinking. Sometimes people around you might think you're behaving differently from what you normally behave. This behavior may be that you're seeing things that aren't there or hearing things that aren't there. This isn't uncommon, particularly in people such as yourselves who've had such traumatic experiences. Oftentimes people feel that this is some sort of spiritual experience, that God is punishing them or that they're being possessed by a spirit or jinn. This isn't the case. This often is a sign that things may not be well with your mental health. Other times you might feel that adjusting to a new culture or a new environment is making you feel a bit sad, and that this sadness is lasting longer than a few days. When this happens, it may be that the sadness is due to an underlying mental health problem. And it's important in these situations to try and seek some help and support. And here in the UK, we're very lucky because there is a lot of support available for people that are suffering with problems of the mind. What should you do if you feel you're becoming mentally unwell, or that you're feeling very sad or behaving in a way that you wouldn't normally behave? The first thing to do is to tell those around you who are supportive, friends or family that you can talk to. If you don't have anybody like that, there's people here in the UK called GPs, doctors that are in your local community who you can see for a vast variety of health problems, including your mental health problems. They're there for you and available most days of the week. Once you go and speak to them about their problems, it's very important that you know that this conversation that you'll have is confidential, and they won't be going and spreading it to other people. So you can feel confident that you're not being judged, and that other people won't be talking about what you're disclosing. The mind, as I said, is an organ in the brain, in the body, just like any other organ, just like your heart or your lungs. So yes, people can become unwell because they have difficulties with the way they're feeling, their emotions, their behaviors, their thinking. It doesn't mean that you're mad, or that, some people use the term crazy. It doesn't mean that at all. It's a very normal reaction to difficult circumstances, stressful circumstances, traumas. So that's not a term that we use to describe people with mental health problems. Absolutely, yes. Those are some very common ways in which a mental health problem can show itself. But also, it's important to note that sometimes it can affect how we feel physically. So sometimes you might feel that if you're very sad, you're not sleeping so well, or you don't want to eat as much, or you're not looking after yourself as much, having a shower as much as you normally would. But I look forward to talking to you about this more during the face-to-face session, and I'd be happy to answer any questions then.